Hi. So today I'm going to be talking about something that we learned in our U.S. history class. Um, we're talking about post-war era and Cold War, um, and I'm going to talk about a little experience I had with the GI Bill from the first time to the second time I learned it. The second time being the time that I learned it in our U.S. history class. Um, So a little bit of background on the GI Bill. It was a bill that was put in place by Congress to send any and all of our returning GIs who wanted to go to college or I don't know higher level education um, to send them to those schools fully paid for by the government, and it also helped house them and their families. Uh, So this was a huge investment by the U.S. government of I think it was $15 billion, which was a huge sum at the time. Um, so the first time that I learned about this bill, I learned kind of an opinionated version of it from one of my friends. I think it was that the GI Bill was actually a huge failure. And it was a waste of government money, and that it was just not a good idea by our government at all. Um, but the second time I learned it in our USH class just this week. I learned that, in fact, it actually helped prop our economy up to set it up for the 50s and 60s, which were just exponential growth periods, 2 decades of huge prosperity. And there were a million other factors also, but the GI Bill was a big contributing factor. Um, so I kind of want to talk about how the opinions of history can really skew the actual history. Um, the first time I learned that the GI Bill was just this horrible thing, um, and it was just unbelievable for me to learn that it was actually this huge success by our government. Um, and I think it's really interesting how something like that can get skewed so bad. So I think that the more that I learn about seeing these two sides of history, that kind of what I have to say is that it's a big task for somebody to take on, to teach people the unopinionated version of history, what actually happened, not what their opinions of what happened, because that's not what actually happened. It's history. It's not your opinion of it. It happened 50 years ago, one way, not two ways, one way. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that we really need to talk about what happened uh, in a period of time, and not what people think happened, or what their opinion on what happened was, and things like that. And I think this really can connect it to today with our recent, well, sort of recent stimulus package, which was another massive investment by the government, and it was really criticized. But still not really sure the effects of it so far. It's only been a few years, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Because it did have a precedent with the GI Bill and post-war period. So that's my spiel.